talk show where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. We're the talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
Turn it up.
Turn it up.
What's up? Listen, back once again is the incredible, the undoubtable, the uncannibal. Look to my right. Who do you see? Who do you see? Could be none other than Mrs. Deacon herself. Look,
the Mrs. Deacon.
Look. Ow! Look out, Carla Seaworth. You in the building.
The Mrs. Deacon.
Listen, if you don't know by now, that's Carla Seaworth, and right above her is LaSonya Witt. So please get your respect together. Bacon has already given his respect, so we already know what that is. And up above me, as it should be, my main man, 50 grand, Deacon Seaworth. You know what I'm saying? Give it to him if you got it. Give it to him if you got it. Come on, put your hands together. Y'all too. Yeah. Y'all don't like Shelton? Y'all got something against? Okay, golly, man, what is going on? Lord have mercy. Listen, I'm Bishop One Good Leg, and it ain't gonna be no otherwise. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, now I'm back. No, I'm good. I'm on. How y'all doing tonight? We back.
We back, man. We got another series we kicking off this week, man. I'm excited. That's why you see my better half up here, because she like this series. She like when we do series.
She like to get into it. She don't like to play around. When we just talking about some frivolous mess, you ain't gonna see her on the show. When you see her, we getting into it, baby. We getting into it.
When is we ever talking about frivolous?
Yeah, y'all have a good show every week.
One time you did that show about. Okay, I ain't gonna. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hey, quick shout out. We already see some people in the comments. Arnisha, she said, "Good evening, church." What's up, Arnisha?
All right, what's the business, man?
Gwendolyn, she got her. Hello, everyone.
Lady Gwendolyn.
They're my buddies. We gotta have them on the show.
Who you see?
Peter Lee said, "Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing? Welcome."
That's
Peter
Bruce.
Lee.
That's Bruce's nephew.
Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter Lee. That's Bruce's nephew. Yeah,
Bruce Lee nephew. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Peter, you may not know that, but that's okay, because Bishop One Good Leg, he know a lot of stuff nobody else knows.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. You're a great descendant of the great Bruce. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You may not know.
You kicking devil's butts and taking names.
He said
I wish.
Man, so tonight, man, we're gonna kick off a brand new series. I'm really excited about this. We're calling this series Soul Check, right? And what we're gonna talk about today is: are you spiritually dry or are you busy? Right? A lot of people, get busy with life, get busy with things.
Get busy, y'all.
and what I'm finding and what we're going to talk about tonight, and a lot of the cast members tonight are going to share, opportunities or things in our life where we thought we were just being busy, where we thought we were, maybe tired, maybe burnt out or whatever, but it really was some heaviness in our soul. So really want to get started with that. Next week, we're going to talk about smiling. You're still smiling, but you're not okay inside. We're going to talk about being offended and wounded, unhealed, what that looks like for believers, for people, all over the world. The next thing we're going to talk about is fighting everything, but trusting nothing. Probably because you're offended, wounded, healed, different traumas. Next thing we're going to talk about is performing or really growing. That's something we really got to look at in church. Are we just performing? Are we just showing up? Are we smiling and acting like everything's cool? Or are we really growing? Are we really transforming and becoming, who God wants us to be? I know y'all can expect Carla to be on this because this is something that we've talked about for years. Disappointed with God. Are you really disappointed with God? And it's showing in your life, it's showing in the things that you do or say, in your walk, in your ability to walk. The next thing we'll talk about is the weight of carrying everybody. And then finally, we'll talk about what real peace actually looks like. And all of these things, we're going to talk about, practically our own lives, what we've had to deal with, but more importantly, what the Bible says about these things as well. So we are really excited about it. Man, Peter is from Belgium. All right,
Oh,
Peter.
okay.
I like it. All right,
Yay.
international.
Okay. All right
Well,
now.
Peter, since you're just joining us and joining the family, man, welcome. We are an interactive show. So everything we talk about, we really, really feed off the audience, off your questions, off your comments. You don't have to agree with everything we say or talk about. If you don't, just put it in the comments. We want to talk about it. This is a real discussion that we're having here, and so. But we're definitely excited about this. We just came out of a series where we compared kingdom principles, being in the kingdom of God compared to culture, compared to how the world, moves. And, this is kind of like the next thing, I think, the next logical thing to kind of talk through, because one of the reasons why we can't, I believe that we can't, function the way we need to be in the kingdom is because our soul isn't always in the right place. We're not always connected, to our source. And so we want to talk about that. We want to talk about some of the things that kind of disconnect us, some of the things that kind of keep us from being, connected to God and having a level of intimacy that we need to have with him and understanding. So really excited about this. Any, opening thoughts, Lasagna, Bishop, Carla? No? Y'all
Nope.
ready in here?
We're ready.
Okay. So let me frame it like this, right? Here's some things that, I'm going to say that we're going to highlight tonight or that we want to delve into. One, people are overloaded mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, especially here, in the world with all the things that are going on in politics and culture and wars, rumors of wars, all of those different things. So you got this extra level of, I think, emotional or mental and even spiritual heaviness that's happening, right? And a lot of people are functioning, meaning that they're moving along, they're they're going on with life, but they're, I feel like that we are, sometimes we can be a shell of ourselves, right? Nobody in the world really knows what's going on. Sadly, me and my wife was talking about earlier today, young man in Louisiana that shot his whole family, killed eight kids, shot,
That was rough.
two women, a mistress and his wife, and what was going on inside of him, where people couldn't even see what's really happening there, because one of the outcomes that I think that happens, from us, being busy, just going on with life and not really paying attention to what's happening on the inside of us. We get to that point. We get to a boiling point where you can just, blow up and things like that happen. So, first of all, prayers going out to the families, that has been affected by that, like 8 kids. I mean, it was just sad. I believe that happened on Sunday. Just hearing, that happening over the weekend. But again, the way things are pressing people these days, if we don't talk about this, if we don't really pay attention to this type of stuff, you can really, see a lot more of that, coming up. in the world. And so, how do we deal with that? How do we talk through that? All right. So we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. I wanted to just kind of set the stage, frame everything. But one of the things that we try to be is very transparent and authentic with, okay, Dion, you getting with the glasses crew? Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just, I don't want to be the odd man out. I want to be with y'all. And we a we a group. We a group in every way. We a group. Yeah.
That's funny.
But the first thing I wanted to do is just really ask the question. Like, I know I already got a story in mind, but I wanted to ask the cast, if you're willing to share maybe a time where you realized that, you weren't just busy, that was something actually going on inside of you, inside your soul, inside of, internally. And then, follow that up with, what was the process of coming out of that? And then, finally, what did you get from that? What did you learn from that? About yourself and about God. Anybody want to kick that off? Or y'all need me to?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in that thing.
Let's go, Bishop, with the glasses. Peter said he got glasses on too, so he's part of the family.
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead, my man. I find this particular point and topic really interesting because what happens is if the devil can slow you down, then he can stop you. What I mean is that you'll go through a period where you're going and the wheels of progress are turning. You're making things happen. You're attending every Sunday. You're praying every day. You're reading your word. You're doing everything that it takes, to have that relationship be solid with God. And then the devil will come with, hey, don't you have such and such to do? Hey, shouldn't you be blah, blah, blah? And whatever it takes, whatever distraction that he could throw your way to slow you down. He knows he can't just stop you outright, cold turkey. He knows that all he has to do is throw something in your way to where you stumble a little bit and you didn't read your word today, or you didn't pray today, or whatever it was. And he slows you down. Okay. And that continues. And then you look up and you're totally off course because you've let that slow down, kind of get into you subconsciously and affect you in the road that you were on until you are just completely stopped. And you were masking it as, hey, I'm just busy, or I'm got to take care of this first, or I got to get to this, or whatever the case may be, or they doing a lot of overtime at work. I got to make this money real quick while it's available, or whatever excuse is. You use that, and then when you look up and your life is in shambles, you realize that, wow, I'm really out here and I'm really messed up, and I really need to get back on track, and I need to get back on the road that I was on. And that's what happened to me in a couple of instances where, like I said, it was just a little thing at first that slowed down my progress until it became a big thing and I was dead stopped, in terms of going forward with God. And, that really, shook me awake because I looked back at the situation and I was like, man, he really took me off course. I'm really in the woods now. I was on the road going fine, but I'm in the woods now. And I got to find my way back to the road and get back on it and get back on track, and get on down, because at the end of the day, when you love God, when God is the center of your joy and your universe or what have you, he will tug at you like, hey, I'm still in the car on the road. You need to get back in, so we can go, And when you realize that you're in the woods and you look around and God's not with you, then you got to get back to the road, get back in that car and go on,
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I got a story.
Go ahead.
Sitting in my dorm room, and I can remember this was my exact conversation. I said, God, I believe you're real. I believe this Bible's real. It don't mean much to me I said, I need something else in my life. What is the problem? Like, I believe these words, but when I read them, it's more like a history or a fact book. I said, so you got to do something with me. You got to do something else for my life. It's not that I know you're real, just by stuff that happened. I believe the word, I believe it's real. But what effect does it mean for me? How can this affect me? So I prayed. And I'm not going to tell y'all no lie. When I open up my Bible, the next time it's like the words came off the page. It's like the words when I was reading them, I could see them fitting into my life. But before that, it's like, okay, I believe the word. I believe God is real. But I just remember sitting in that room with that Bible and saying, you got to make yourself real to me. I believe you did all the stuff for these people. I believe everything I read. I believe you are, what the glue. You are the foundation to anything. And then I just sat there and honest to God, after I prayed, it's like the words came off the page. Like I was like, okay. And it had life. It wasn't just a history book or historical book or an accounts of other people's lives. It became real to me. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, you can find yourself in the pages, but I was just honest. It's like, hey, we got to do something about this. I'm just reading this stuff, going along to get along, and this ain't working for me. And so I just being honest. And then it came off the page, and it never was the same after that. But I think just being honest and just saying how I felt and saying what it was.
Yeah.
That's very awesome.
Yeah.
Babe, you want to jump in there before I get mine in?
Yeah. I mean, I got plenty of stories. It's stories every day. I'm a constant story. So, but one of the things that I was thinking about is just, when I first got married, and just we're backstory, we're blended family. We got 5 amazing young men, but they were once little. And so when they were little, it was really difficult for me. I felt like, like the story in the Bible of Mary and Martha, like I just felt like I was just tasked down every day with, chores and, have to go to work and cook dinner and, all these type of things. And so I would find that I would just get depleted, like, just be so much busy work. And it just never seemed like I ever could stay on top of everything. And then, this would be going good over here, but then this is broke over here. And so just being, just early in marriage, it was really, really difficult for me just to balance it out. So, almost 17 years in, I've had to learn to make, God a lifestyle, just living my life, with being God-centered. Now, I'm not going to say it happens perfectly every single day, but I have to have that to be able to do everything else. So it was really me aligning my priorities in my life. And like Dion said, it's just a constant reminder. There's always going to be something. There's always something to do, something coming up. And, it's always fighting for our attention. The internet's fighting for our attention. Our phones are fighting for our attention. The news fighting for our attention, and so it's really cutting away and just keeping the main thing. And again, that's something that it's a constant that I have to do. It's not something I will say I've mastered.
Yeah. I think the first time that I was able to kind of articulate there was something going on with my soul, I knew Carla then, so she might even remember this story, but this was before we were dating. This was before we were married, but we worked at a call center. And I remember I was at work. I was a leader of a call center team. And I had gotten to a point, if you know me, I'm very patient. I'm very, I have a lot of patience when it comes to dealing with people, right? So it takes a lot to kind of get me, aggravated or irritated or angry. But I remember at that time, I had just recently started going back to church. I was in a situation, that I was kind of, trying to figure out like how to get back to where I needed to be with God. And there was a lot of stuff going on. So people would come to me and ask me questions, at work or whatever. And one of the things I could tell you that I felt was I had a short fuse. Like I didn't like the filters that I normally had. If somebody asked me something that didn't make no sense, or that normally I'll be able to be like, hey, let's talk through this and let's figure this out together. Like I didn't have any filters, right? And irritable, couldn't sleep, just really, felt stressed. You know what I mean? And so I ended up actually taking leave from work for about a month. And if you take leave for a month, especially if it's a medical leave or whatever, you got to go to counseling. You got to go to the doctor because you're on leave. And so I chose to go to a Christian counselor. And, I kind of was just telling her everything that was going on in my life, and this is why I think this is so important, because in my perception, my life it felt normal to me. All the things that I had going on felt normal because that's what I was living. But I was actually taking on a lot of stuff, a lot of people's responsibility, a lot of people's feelings and emotions and things like that. And what had happened was, I couldn't take it anymore. Like I was collapsing. Like I didn't have boundaries. And so that was one of the things that I think God allowed me to kind of go through in my life, to realize that I had to kind of set boundaries. I had to, really protect my peace better. And that was the first time I realized that, you could be doing things. Like I was going to work every day. I was making money. I was being successful. I was doing all these different things, but didn't know that I was getting dry inside, and Dion, you described it earlier, it was harder for me to pray or figure out what I, needed to pray about. And, again, one of the fruits of the Spirit is being kind, or, being patient and being gracious. Like all of those fruits was a little bit hard for me to to encompass in life. And so even now, I like to say that was the last time, but that's one of the things I think we'll talk about today, is that you have to recognize those symptoms. You have to recognize when you're moving out of place, and out of position. And where the position that I'm talking about, the position that I've found that, that we all need to strive for, is staying close to God. The Bible talks about staying in his bosom, just staying connected to him. And so, the actual separation happens so, it happens so subtly. You get busy, you wake up, you start doing this, focusing on this. You're not giving him time. Like if you're in a relationship with someone and you just, ignoring them, like it may just be one day, then it's the second day, and then it's the third day. Before you know it, there's this gap in between you, and you're just going on with your life, but you're missing something. You're missing something valuable to you. And so that's why I think it's important, for us to talk about that. Audience, do you guys have any experience with that? Anything that, have you ever felt that way? I put up a quick poll, and I'll put that back up in a second. But the poll says, what usually tells you first that your soul is running low? Is it you lose hunger for praying? You get irritated easily. You start going through the motions. You feel emotionally drained, but you just keep on going. Somebody's already responded by saying they get irritated more easily. That was me. Like I get that's how I know there's something going on inside of me. My irritation level is you can push my buttons a little bit more.
Okay. Good to know.
That's good to know. You like that?
No, I don't like that. I don't like that, but I'm saying it's good to be aware of that, sir. It's good to be aware, because I don't want to get caught unaware.
Man, Peter, thank you for sharing. Peter said 2 years ago he was working overtime in the summer, and he was working hard and having a hard time. And he got very depressed, where he was even thinking about suicide. So
Come
I
on, Peter.
decided to take leave of absence and go get some help by going. And
he said by going to church. It's in the next.
By going to church. Okay, my bad.
Come on.
That's awesome, Peter. First of all, thank you for sharing. And that's more common than a lot of us as Christians even want to admit. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that becomes part of the problem, because like when you go to church, a lot of times we have to put on this face like we're good, and like everything is going right in our life. One of the things we like to say as Christians, like when people say, "How you doing?" "I'm blessed and highly favored." All this kind of stuff. And, inside you really struggling with something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, part of, I think, the healing is to be able to talk about it, to be able to get it out, in the open. So I think that's super important.
A dead giveaway though is all is well.
All is well.
Yeah.
That's what you
when
say.
somebody tell me all is well, I'm like, wait a minute. Hey, listen, let's talk about it. Cause we need to, it's not well if you say all is well. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Now, blessed and highly favored, you might be able to slide by me with that one. But all is well, hold on, let me talk to you real quick.
The truth is, people don't want to really know how you're doing because they got their own problem. They don't ask you how you're doing to know how you're doing, because they really don't want to know how you're doing. They just being polite. Hey, how you doing? That's a polite thing to say. Because I ain't got all day to worry about what you're doing. They going through their own stuff. They're not worried about your stuff. And people be living life on the fast track. So it's like, the truth is, people got their own bubble that they live in mostly. And they just ask you how you doing to be polite. They're not really asking you how you doing. Because if you really tell them how you doing, that'd be a real conversation. But I just want to throw that out there. That ain't what people really. If you want to express yourself, got to get you some accountability partners and express yourself and see how you doing. That's how you got to. They got to keep a check on you because they know how you move. They say, you moving different. I ain't talked to you in a week. Been a month. What's going on with you?
You know all about that, don't you, Sonya?
Oh God, yes. Them accountability partners, boy, they be on top of your head.
I know. You get a phone call. I need to see your face. I want to see your face.
I get done like that too. Hey, I ain't heard what's going on. Some people, they around you so much they just know how you doing. Yeah. Like without so many words, they can feel you, or they know it, or it's like something in your voice, like, hey, what's really going on? I'm hearing something. So to be honest, you got to get around people. And got you some people, like I say, people that's accountability partners that you be around, and they kind of know you and kind of feel you, because everybody just don't want to know how you're doing. I hate to hurt your feelings, but they don't. They got their own troubles. They got their own problems. They just being polite. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, one of the things we talk about a lot on this show is relationships, right? Having a relationship with God, but then building, strong relationships with the people in your circle that you can trust, you know what I mean? And, in that you get that accountability, in that you get the discipleship and the mentorship and the support you need in these tough times, So that's one of the things that I think we should all strive for. God is going to actually strategically put some people in your life. If they got to send them from Indiana and pop up at one of your open mics one day, that can help pour into your life. You know what I mean? He's that good. So I believe he'll do that for you. Hey, we got another comment here. Solo Nice 9627. He says, yes, learning how to pour from my saucer instead of your cup, to keep from depleting yourself, especially when you do all the pouring and not getting refilled. You get burnt out. Yeah. He also said, now any situation that costs me my peace, the price is too high. And you know what? That was, I think that sums up the lesson that I got, from my kind of like breakdown point. was the counselor kind of helped me, you know, figure out that I was, you know, giving away my peace. I was giving away, you know, certain things to people that, you know, weren't going to either be able to pour. And it's not even that those people have to pour back into you. You know what I mean? But you do have to set yourself up in a place, one, where God can pour back into you, you know, because it's a catch-22. If you're not connected to God, if you're not spending time with him, if you're not, you know, in an intimate space and you get so busy and you start doing all these other things, he's the cup filler. He's the one that is going to fill you. And so, you know, I think that's why the enemy kind of, you know, distracts us with busyness. You know, we call it success. We call it, you know, all these different things. But in some cases, it's just really becomes that distraction. If it keeps you from connecting to God in the most intimate way, then it's really a distraction. And ultimately, you know, it can really lead you to a bad place.
Yeah, for sure.
Arnisha says, I say is all is well because it means just that. When some are standing on faith and don't want to waver, they might say all is well. It's about knowing the individual. That's for you, Bishop. She said, I say all is
She done
well.
shot at me. Listen, Miss Arnisha, I don't want no problems. I'm just saying, you know, the people I come in contact with, you know what I'm saying? That's how I be with them. You know, I don't want no troubles.
Now, Alicia, that's our girl. You know, she keep us straight. That was a good point.
She gets right with it. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna tell you now. When the woman in the Bible said all was well, her son was dead. But when you hanging on the faith with everything in you, you can't be telling everybody your stuff because they're gonna pour that doubt on top of you. And she didn't. She waited till she got to the man of God because she said they asked her how she was doing. She said all is well. Where he at? Everybody came up to her. How you doing? All is well. Where he at?
Right.
Because she hanging on to everything. She got a dead son at home. She can't be running around here talking about, yeah, my son is dead and crying and no, sir, I'm not accepting death. All is well. Because she hanging on to something else that's beyond her circumstance and situation. And sometime in life, you got to be like that. Sometimes you got to say as well when it look like it's crazy. All is well because I speak those things that are not as though they were, like the Bible tells me to do. So when I speak a thing, because I'm made in likeness in the image of God, what I say got to be what I say because I'm made in the image of God who said, let there be light, and there was light. I'm made in his image. Whatever I say, that's what it's going to be. So I'm telling you all is well by faith because my baby finna get up, and he did. So sometimes you have to say all is well when all looking crazy, all going to hell, and everything look like it. You got to say all is well because your life will line up to what you say.
That keep them unnecessaries and them randoms out your business. All is well. You know,
All
when
is
you
well.
can't, when you know they can't do nothing about it, hey, all is well, brother. All is well. All is cool. But when you have an anointing on you, you can sense, or when you have a relationship with that person, you can sense that all is not well. And especially, you know, if that's not something that they normally say as far as that. So, you know, you'd have to be sensitive to that conversation in order to catch that. Like you say, people say, how you doing? And try to keep on going. You know, they don't really want to know how you're doing. But if you're really in tune with that person and they come back all is well, you're like, wait a minute. Okay. Are you really good? And then, you know, you sit down and you talk it out or whatever. But yeah, all is well would definitely keep some folk out your business, especially if you say it with a smile. All is well. And they go right on. You know what I'm talking about? You hurting all inside. You just toe up in the chest.
I think that's what that lady did.
And what I'll say, because I think the key thing that Arnisha, I think the key thing that Sonia and Dion are saying at this point is based off of us having faith in God, right? And what I will say is that we definitely have to have that, but there is another aspect where people are just saying that and they really don't, and their faith really ain't aligned with what they're saying. You know what I mean? And there's a difference there. And I think Lasagna kind of touched on it earlier because, you know, through relationships, you can see like this person ain't who they are. You know, who God, you know, they ain't glowing. You know, it's something missing in that. And, you know, that's why I think it's important for us, Galatians, I believe it's Galatians 3, where it just talks about when a brother or sister falls, to be there to help them, up, being careful not to fall into temptation ourselves, basically. But, that's because there's just power in unity. There's powers in these relationships that God kind of blesses us with. Because, again, if it goes unchecked, and you got people just saying things and their faith really isn't aligned with that, then that's where we get in trouble. And I will say that there are definitely some people, in church that are saying things. I was just talking to a loved one this week, right? And, they've been kind of dealing with a sickness. And, I'm asking them, I know they're dealing with a sickness. And when I'm asking them about the sickness, they're just saying, well, God got me. But they're not answering what's happening with the sickness.
All is well.
This person is close to me. And again, I don't think it should take away from your faith to just really have a conversation with someone. To the point where, we as Christians, sometimes we won't even go to a doctor, or we won't go, when I said I went to a psychologist, I went to a Christian psychologist, but, in some sects, that's a no-no, you know what I mean? Because I'm just gonna try to deal with this. But what I think that the issue is, and we're gonna talk through this whole series, if you're coming from, I guess it's the position that you're starting from, right? So if you're starting from a place of trauma, a lack of faith, a lack of hope internally, but it's just inside of you, then just saying those words are going to come, it's going to be hollow. You know what I mean? It's going to be, there's no effect to it, because our faith is what gives us that power, if that makes sense. Am I saying that the right way, Sonia? Do you get what I'm saying?
You say our faith. Our faith do. Faith is, it's the foundation for anything in our life. And I know for me, as myself, I only tell like a select few. If I'm really having a hard time, I wouldn't dare tell somebody that I didn't think had faith. And it's not because they told me they had faith or not have faith. I can see in their life if they got faith or they don't have faith. So it's not because they told me, oh, I'm full of faith and I can help you. I watch how you move. I see how you do. I can feel your spirit and to know if you got faith. So I would never share my life with somebody who didn't have faith because they couldn't help me. Because some stuff, if it's an impossibility and you tell somebody and they put all that doubt on you, now they messing with your faith. Then you be like, man, I probably was crazy, because I've had crazy stuff I didn't believe God for. And I wouldn't tell nobody else that wasn't crazy like me, because they'll be like, oh, that's crazy. Like, how you believe that? Just like I told y'all when the doctor told me to get my teeth removed, I ain't have no bones, and he showed me the x-ray. I wasn't going to do no such thing. And I went to the doctor. So prayed, fasted, whatever, and it took years. But I had 4 teeth removed to remind me, and I only got them removed because the bone was loose around it. And the doctor said, man, I hate to pull out these teeth because they're beautiful, but ain't no bones around them. I got 4 of them taken out, but all the rest of them still in my mouth. I was like, no, we just gonna go a step at a time. I'm not that man crazy. And then when I came down here to the dentist, they said, and this how the miracle, I know it was a miracle, because the dentist asked me when I got, he said, hey, me and my colleagues were looking at your x-rays, and this is what we don't understand. Why are teeth missing and your bones is this strong? Were you in an accident? He didn't have a clue what he was telling me, but he was just telling me how much of a miracle I had experienced. He's like, why you got 4 teeth missing and your bones are strong? I didn't have no bones. So them teeth, every time I think about it, I'll be like, man, God, that was a miracle. And it's like, why are these teeth? But they only took them out one at a time as the bone. It's like, man, we just can't hang on to them. I said, baby, I would never tell nobody that didn't have faith. Oh, yeah, I went to the dentist, he told me I got to remove all my teeth. Ain't got no bone, only the top half. And, you got to take them all out. And you ain't got no faith. You better get them teeth out. I would take them out my mouth. My teeth way too big enough to have no teeth. I need all these big teeth.
I need all these.
I ain't got no little teeth. I got big teeth.
Grown adult teeth. You heard me?
Oh, yes, sir. So I wouldn't dare tell somebody who didn't have faith, be like, they just be looking at you. Well, you went to the doctor. Doctor said, because some people believe the doctor is God. You go to the doctor, whatever the doctor say, you believe it. I believe doctors give me facts, but my word gives me the truth. The doctor helps me identify what I need to pray about. That's how I see doctors. You go to the doctor, okay, You say ain't got no bones. That's what I need to focus on. He gave me facts, but God is the truth. So I stood on the truth and then still got my teeth, even though I lost 4 of them.
I agree with that, Sonya.
Peter said you had beautiful teeth, Sonya.
Beautiful teeth.
I so appreciate you, Peter.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, when I was younger, when I was a kid, my mom went through something pretty traumatic. And I mean, at that age, the most I had ever prayed about was to have passing grades. It was no substance to my prayers. Let me pass chemistry, And she had a traumatic experience, and it was a medical miracle, and so much so that doctors brought around their interns or whatever students to come see her, and so they couldn't explain it. Medicine and all that college education, none of that could explain what had actually taken place. So I learned early in my life, you just reaching out to God and you believe in God and you having faith, He can do it, and I was young when I experienced that. And like I said, I didn't have a Bible. I didn't really know what I was praying, but my mom's still here today. So
don't play. Still taking care of her. That's how God do.
Yeah. So just to sum up this part of the show, right? Here just a summation of kind of like three signs you might be running dry. Right? Low in spiritual hunger, right? So you're waking up, forcing yourself, trying to pray, trying to read your Bible, or just don't feel like you're getting with it, right? Being increased, irritable, like lack of patience, lack of grace, and then just end up kind of going through the motions, right? Like you're just on autopilot. Those are summation of kind of some of the points that we've kind of highlighted, in our stories, and when you're looking at, what are you dry right now? So just checking your soul. So, a couple of scriptures I know came to mind, and I thought, and this is not one of the scriptures I pulled, but as we've been talking, I thought about Samson. You remember the story of Samson and how, Samson was going around killing Philistines and just, doing God's work. And, the thing that actually ended up, getting him in trouble is a woman. And the scripture talks about where he just needed a place to lay his head, and, and Bishop,
yes, Lord. Listen, Shelton. You're triggering some things, Shelton. You're triggering some things. Listen, that man was knocking people over, hundreds and thousands of men with the jawbone of an ass. You hear me?
Yes, he was.
I'm talking about, going to work on them suckers. Pow, 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 going all across their head. But when it came to that woman, he was weaker than a lamb and helpless, weak and helpless to stop her power from overtaking him. Oh, come on, somebody. Yeah, she took him under and didn't have to throw a punch at him. Oh, she beat him down, y'all. You heard me? Beat him down. Come on, somebody. She got him when nobody else could get him. Oh, she got him weak.
Got a ghetto Bible.
This is a ghetto Bible. This is a ghetto translation.
We apologize.
It's layman's terms, baby. Hey, I'm giving it to you how you can take it. This ain't King James. This ain't even Boney James. This is, yeah.
A young man from Japan, I think, in here. He's been using his smartphone to translate, and he gonna need it. Extra translation.
Yeah. Get it if you can, young man. Get it if you can, baby. It's out there for you. You heard me? Real spill.
And look, I'm gonna tell you something about Samson. Since we're talking about dry, he had strayed so far away. He didn't know how far from God he really was until he woke up that day without his hair. But I'm gonna tell you something. when you get tired, be careful where you lay your head, because Samson knew that woman was no good for him. Let me tell you how I know he knew. He told her, tie some straw. She did that. Do this. She did that. She kept doing, he told her everything to do. He lied to her 3 or 4 different times. And then, so he knew she wasn't no good for her, because everything these men are standing around him, everything he told her, she did. So he know he ain't got no good woman, but he got tired. Right. So when you get tired, you got to watch when you dry it up and you land your head in the wrong lap. Then he finally told her the truth. Yes, in my hair. But notice now, he was not, she didn't get him like he was just didn't know that because everything she asked, okay, where your strip? Tie the straw around me. Where your strip? Do this. Where your strip? Do that. She kept lying. She kept telling her a lie. But when he got tired, he told her the truth. It's a problem in your life when you know people not good for you, and then you end up telling them your secrets, because you know they ain't no good for you. You got all the red flags. Every time you tell her what to do, she do the thing you tell her to do. All the men storm in a room, and then you kill them, and then she, Samson, you keep telling me. So he knew the deal. But it's just dangerous when you do get dried up where you lay your head.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful, because when you get tired, you let out your stuff, because you don't care if you live or die at that point, because you know they ain't no good for you. So all of us, that's a word of caution to any of us, since you brought it up, that be careful where you lay your head when you get tired. Because sometimes you be tired of living. Sometimes you get tired of your life. You just be tired. You be dried up and you be tired. And the first place you know you getting tired is when you're disobedient. When God starts talking to you, you don't do what he say, you drying up that day. You're not drying up when you don't do it. When he say it, you don't do it. You start drying up that day. And whatever he talking to you about is drying up. That's why he brought it to your attention. And if you don't pay attention to it, by the time you get dried up, a situation gonna be blowed up. So do what he tell you to do when he tell you to do it, because God is for you. If I could ever get people to understand, even me, God is for us. He loves us. He got good thoughts for us. He's not trying to punish you, kill you, and destroy you. He is for your good. He seeks your goodness. You know, even in Jeremiah, I know the thoughts and plans that I have for you. Thoughts are good to give you an expected end. If you knew God was good and he's for your good, everything he telling you is good. He telling you to do stuff for your good. It's not for him. I promise you, God not talking for his sake. He's talking because you need this. So the first place you know you drying up when you're disobedient, because God is trying to keep your life and you trying to run away from it. He starts talking to keep you from drying up, so you don't have to be like Samson. You get tired and then you tell the wrong person your stuff and then they kill you.
It's over.
Yeah.
Well, she done ran us over real good, didn't she?
She did. Elaine in the comments blowing it up. Here's a couple other scriptures to think about as well, right? In Matthew, let me move this. Matthew 11, 28 through 30. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Me and Carla have been talking about that scripture. Pay attention to what that says. For my yoke is easy, right? You ever heard of the easy yoke? And does that sound like does a yoke ever seem easy to you? But God is saying that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Burden, when we think about burden, we think about it being heavy. So, again, the trick is us being connected to him, us staying close to him, us following him, being obedient to him and following his purpose. Like the stuff he's asking us to do, it's going to be easy and it's going to be light compared to the stuff we keep trying to drag around on our own. We don't even know. We drag around heavy stuff.
Heavy.
Because we don't want to let go of it, The other scripture that we have for you tonight is abide in me. Abide in me. This is John 15, 4 through 5. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can you except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing.
Hmm.
Bringeth forth much fruit.
Mhm.
Mm.
And finally, Psalms 42. This is a very popular scripture. But as the heart panteth after the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? Right? As humans, whether we know it or not, our soul is thirsting for a connection with God. You know, we were talking about this weekend, babe, that when you look back before Adam and Eve fell, they were connected to God 24/7.
Mhm. Mhm.
They were constantly connected to Him. That's how, if you ever wondered, like I did, like how was Adam born smart enough to be able to name animals, every animal on the earth and stuff, other than the fact, if you think about it, he's connected to God. Like God telling him this is a goat.
That was
This
the
is,
source.
he's the source, but when we fail, and we ate from the tree of knowledge, the thing was we trying to be like God. We trying to have our own knowledge. We trying to carry this life on our own. And we really never was meant to do that. We was always meant and designed to carry this life and carry these things with God, because we were supposed to be connected to Him 24/7. And that's what one of the things Christ did when He died on the cross. He gave us the ability to be connected to Him again. And He sent back the Holy Spirit. It's our ability to be connected to Him again, and super, super important for us to do that. And the enemy doesn't want that. So he's going to keep piling on things. He's going to keep trying to make you busy with this and that, distracted with this and that. So you're neglecting your soul, and you can't really abide, and you can't really, stay connected to Him, because I think someone said it earlier, about, not having a cup full, right? But keep pouring out. That's how that happens. That's how we get to a place of depletion on what we're able to really do and really serve, in this world. So any thoughts about those scriptures? Any add-ons? I know I done kind of gave some of my thoughts about that, but are any other scriptures that I didn't have included? Bishop, Sonia, anything that can't come to mind as we've been talking?
Now I'll be talking. I'll be want to give y'all a chance. Stuff always on my mind. I'll tell you what though, when you are connected to God, and when you do stray too far away, he'll tap you. It'll put something in your life to get your attention. I promise you, a text, a phone call, something happen. He'll always have a way to draw you back into Him. You get too far away, you get too busy, you get too this, you get too lax, you get too something. You'll get something. Be like, whoa, that make you snap. You get that doctor's report, you get this report, you get that, you get this, or your family called with this. Somebody had this, somebody in an accident, this, that. It's ways that God can maneuver situations to get you back on them knees, get you back to Him. So the enemy will try to come in and pull you away from God, but God got a way to get His kids back. He said, my sheep, they know my voice. And none other, they're not going to be following. You get too far from that path, He get that rod, then that staff, He get you right on back in check. That's what I love about Him. You get too far away, and He let you know. He do it easy too. Come on back now. You down here a little bit too far. So then you get that call. I know how it is to drop everything and have to pray on a dime. You sitting in the middle of something, you get this one phone call, or everybody got them certain people that text or call, and it's like, okay, you drop everything for them. Not many, but it's a couple in your life. So it's like, oh shoot, this for real. They need God like right now, where you got to be like, hey, I got to take a break now, get away now, go to my car, whatever you need to do. So have no fear. If you belong to God, He got some stuff to get you back to Him. He got little nudges, little stuff, because the enemy always working. He always working overtime to try to keep us distracted. But then you got a God that love you. He pull you on back in with His rod and His staff that comfort us.
Absolutely.
You're right. I was listening to a podcast last week, and it was about marriage, and the wife was describing some things she experienced with her marriage with her husband, and she was going to God, just going to him about her husband, and
Mm-hmm.
she was asking God to fix it, fix it, fix it. And so God pretty much spoke to her and said, you see what we're doing right here? I'm allowing this to happen. I won't fix it because I like what's taking place between you and I. Like, God loved the intimacy. He hadn't been able to talk to her, but this situation, came to light, and that gave God a place to be able to have that conversation with her. Like, and I just, for my own personal life, I identify with that because it's some things that God holds all truth. He holds everything. And so it's in those places of intimacy that he gets to share with us what he's been dying to tell us, but we don't have room. We're so full of
That's right.
our own thoughts, our own idea, our own life. I'm tasked to take care of this. So, whatever that may sound like, but just having that time to speak with God, he holds just a better path for us, a better way to do what it is we need to do, so.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. Yeah, he got his ways, Carla, just like that lady said. He got his way. Yeah, we family. He talking about all four of them got some glasses on. So do. It's a family affair.
It's
when
the
you
crew.
get 40
It's
and
the
up,
crew.
you got to get your glasses out.
I didn't try to read, so I can't see without them. So.
I can't see with mine. Y'all looking blurry as a mug right now. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It was like, yeah, these glasses make it crystal clear. Like, I can see, but when I pull this down like that, baby, everything coming clear.
Right.
And these ain't nothing but some readers. $1
Mine
a dollar
too.
store. These little readers come in handy. You get 2.0.
I can't pronounce his name, but I know he's from Japan. He said this is such an important meeting. Yet for some reason I'm the only Japanese person listening. Hey, I tell you
Hey,
what,
tell a friend to tell a friend, brother.
Yeah, you can share us. You're on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, we definitely welcome you to the family. You can wear your glasses next week too. And we can all be up here doing our thing.
Hey, there you go.
We do this every Tuesday. I want everybody to know that. And I'm really excited inside. One of the things I've prayed about for this show, because y'all know when we were on the online station on the Fishbowl Radio Network, we were getting people from overseas and they were chiming in and connecting with us. So really good to see, God is expanding our territory. We got Belgium on the line. We got Japan on the line. And it's important, as the world just seems to be in turmoil, we need moments like this where we can connect with brothers and sisters all over the world. So really appreciate y'all chiming in. I appreciate Elaine, Arnisha, Gwendolyn for always connecting with us. I want to sum up tonight with this last kind of slide. These are some things to kind of, take a look at. Some applications, right? You gotta take audit of what's going on with you in your soul. Lasagna said it earlier. You gotta just ask God. Hey, I'm, and we always challenge our audience. Like, don't be afraid to have a conversation with God, a real conversation with God about where you really are, what you really thinking, what you really, going through. One, he already knows. Two, he wants to hear it, and he really wants to do something about it, right? Know your warning signs. Know the things that are happening to you, or that are signaling that you're not in the right place, or if you're struggling with your prayer life, if you're struggling reading the word, you're getting angry real quick, you're getting irritated, like you're gonna realize if you really just take note of that and again have God show you that, you'll see some of those warning signs, and hopefully you can do some things about it before you even get too far away, right? Rebuild your small rhythms, so even when you don't feel like reading your word, when you don't feel like praying, even start your prayer off like, God, I don't even feel like praying today. and tell him why, and then see where God take you to it. Like I personally have some real questions, real conversations with God, and he be giving me real answers. I might not like the answers all the time, and I might not, like really, want to hear it, but he's gonna give you what you need, right? He's gonna give you what you need to get where you need to be, and then ask God to kind of restore your hunger, right? Any other thoughts, guys?
Yep. My number one thought, main application, be obedient. It will take you far in life. It will get you out of trouble. It will get you into stuff. It will get your life blessed. It will get your bloodline blessed. Do what God tell you to do. It is life or death. He's not talking for his good. He's talking for ours. I promise you. Everything God say is life threatening. That's what he told me one day when I stepped foot in Texas. He said, listen to me. Everything I say is life-threatening. If I tell you I'm gonna bless you, somebody need that blessing. If I tell you to stop something, I need you to stop. Whatever I say to you, take heed, is life-threatening. So before you dry up, listen to what God is telling you. Do what he says. Obedience will save your life and somebody else next to you. So that's my final thought.
Awesome. Dion, Bishop, Carla?
Let me tell you something.
Had to take my glasses
God,
off.
yeah, dramatic. That's
You gotta
dramatic.
swing it around.
Didn't y'all feel that? Ow! Listen, every time God tells you something, it's life threatening, but it's also the truth, and he's gonna tell you in love. He ain't gonna never be harsh to you unless he need to be, but it's not out of, it's out of harshness for the emergency, not out of harshness, out of meanness or whatever. God is telling you the truth and love, and that's how you're gonna know it's God, because it's the truth and it's done in love and it's done for your good. So you know what I'm saying? You can sit there or you can decide to go the other way if you want to, and you'll suffer the consequences. Or if you decide to go on and do what it tells you, you'll reap the benefits. Look at somebody and say, reap the benefits.
Reap them.
Reap 'em.
Wow.
And I'm back.
Right?
Okay. I would say I have brain fog. It just popped out of my head.
It was that glasses. The glasses got you.
Glasses just
You got caught.
It was that swing around Dion did.
Right. Yeah.
The whole thing just made me lose focus. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
What was the question again, babe? I'm sorry.
Oh, just any final thoughts for the night. That's all.
Just as far as like Sonia said, just being obedient, just doing what God tell you to do, but also to do the hard thing is what I was gonna say. It came back to me. But do the hard thing. Like sometimes it seems like you're not able to do it, but God is telling you because he knows you're able to do it with him. So it takes courage to really walk this walk. It takes boldness to really walk this walk. If God tell you to walk away from somebody, walk away from them. You don't have to have, all this long, give me a sign and, this long explanation of why God is saying to do it. Just do what God is telling you to do. Do the hard thing. If he tell you to, to step out and start your business or, whatever that may be, have the courage to do it. And even if you don't, pray for the boldness to say, you got to help me with this. I'm not able to do this without you. Help me to be able to have courage to do this thing. So that was my take that I forgot and it came back to me. So
and so that's our show, but I wanted to put up this last comment. I really appreciate you. He says that he's a Buddhist, and maybe he should become a Christian. Again, like we are a talk show. We're all Christians. We talk about Christianity from a standpoint, though, that from the relationship that we have with God, right? And so we're just going to be very honest and transparent about what we know about God, what God has shown us, and if that leads you and causes you to be more curious about him, I'm very confident that if you start looking at Jesus and studying these different things, you'll find something really, really great with them. So we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you connecting with us. Always, you can come back and put different questions and thoughts. If you have a point of view, even from the religion that you practice, we will talk with you. We'll have conversation with you. We love everyone. So
let me tell him. Let me say something to him too. Is this a Christian? I'm a Buddhist. Maybe I should come. I had a pastor one time. He said you never have to convince people to be Christian. He said this is what you tell them: seek God with everything in you, and the real God will show up for you. He said, just seek God. Just do whatever you do with all you got. He said, I promise you, God will come and you will know who the true and living God is. He said, because most people, they don't get to experience God, even being Christians, because they don't do it with everything they got.
yes.
And whatever you do it with everything you got. Be sincere when you pray. And he said, the real God's going to show up for you. He said, you don't have to convince people to be a Christian, Muslim, do this, do it. He said, you don't have to convince people to do anything. Tell them to seek for God with all their heart, and God will come to them, and then they'll know what to do. He said, you don't have to convince anybody to change their religion. Tell them to seek that thing, whatever they do, with all their heart, and they promise you, he said, they will have an encounter with God.
I love it. I love
I
it.
do too.
This is a great show. Again, thank you guys for tuning in this week. Thank you for tuning in every week. We're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you guys next week.
Well, I gotta go.
Be the talk show.